You really think I overthink things?
Absolutely.
He's right. We were just talking about that. Hi, everyone. Welcome into Primetime TV Show. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is the one and only Dennis Kelly, author of The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. Have you had a chance to pick up this book? It can change your life forever. In fact, you know what we're going to do today?
What are we going to do today?
We're going to talk
Well,
to everybody out there.
I'm glad we're going to talk.
Well, we can dance any other time, but today it's time to really share a lot of what's going on in our lives and how we might be able to make a difference in your lives. Of course, my husband has been my life coach for many, many years after he used me as a guinea pig. And it worked, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Gosh, when I came into the gym and I was ready, I was pumped up, ready to go after doing a whole night stint at the Home Shopping Network, and there you were, as big as life, puffing up your chest, ready to say hello, join the club. You didn't know what was going to come out of my mouth today, did you?
No.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
What you been drinking?
Nothing. Tea. Hot tea. Anyway, we are excited because there's so much going on in the world, both negative but also positive as well. And we have been making new discoveries and new realizations, new awakenings. There's a whole mastermind conscious shift that is awakening those of us like-minded, growth-seeking individuals. In other words, that's another way of saying those of us that want to be better people and to really want to work for the good, pay it forward, share it with others. And the one thing that my husband and I feel very strong about is to really take as good care of yourself as you possibly can. That's where the 6 steps comes in. And the reason why I wanted to bring this back, because you haven't been here for a few weeks, so we're honored to have my husband Kelly here when he comes in, because he's busy out and about making a difference and changing people's lives and teaching and coaching and seminars and workshops and all that kind of thing. So we feel privileged to have you in the show today to share some of your little secrets that
Well, that was very sweet of you.
Of course, absolutely. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you, and that's the truth. It really is. I had to do some of my own soul searching and get back to the gym.
Well, I'll send you the bill.
Oh, you mean I didn't get it already? Let's talk about the importance of several things that you have really created a system for called tri-neurogenics. And if you could just give the definition and why you came up with that as your system, your program that has made a difference in many, many lives, including my own and my family.
Well, that's pretty, how would I say it? It's pretty easy to do because there's so much information out there. I can't take credit for it. But I can tell you one thing, that the most important thing to realize and to really get ahead, you have to understand the wisdom of the ages. The wisdom of the ages is quite, how would I say it? Once you understand that, you can go anywhere. You can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the story about the wisdom of the ages is this king, this brilliant king, and had this wonderful kingdom, one of the biggest kingdoms in the world. And he wanted to find out the wisdom of the ages. So he brought in his disciples, and these were the wisest men in the valley. Anyway, he told them, go out into the world and bring me back the wisdom of the ages. So they went out into the world. A couple of years later, they came back and they had all these stacks of books. And the king read through all of them and said, that was wonderful, guys. You did a great job. He says, but I want it in one book. So they went out another couple of years and got the wisdom of the ages, got it in the one book. King read it and he said, that's great, guys, but now I want one page. So they went out, got the wisdom of the ages, came back with one page. He says, that's wonderful. I need one sentence. And they were, by that time, pretty frustrated. And many years went by. So they came back after a couple of years, one sentence. The king said, that's it. You know what that sentence was?
What?
There isn't any free lunch.
I love that.
Joking aside, there's a lot of wisdom to that because people expect something for nothing. They want to lose weight, they don't follow a program. They want to get strong, they don't do anything to get strong. So to really understand this, you have to really know the 4 laws of the universe, the 4 universal laws. Once you understand those 4 universal laws, you can just about accomplish anything in your life that you want. In fact, you can accomplish. But the big challenge with that is sometimes what you want, after you got it, it's hard to get rid of. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to go through those 4 laws. And of course, if you have any questions, dear, feel free to ask me or interrupt. You know, that's all right if you have something to add to it.
Okay.
All right, this is our show, not just my show.
Or just my show.
Well, it is more your show than my show. You're the host.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I'm the invited guest.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that? Okay. Anyway, the first law is the law of attraction.
Ah.
The law of attraction.
I'm sure there's many of you out there that have heard about the law of attraction. We're going to really get into the nitty-gritty because it works.
Everybody is under the law of attraction. The law of attraction is what you think about, you bring about. In other words, what you think, you become. What you thought about yesterday, you become today. What you think about today, you become tomorrow. So understanding that law is very important. And the thing is, you don't have to understand it on this particular law to be able to do it, because everybody does it every day. In other words, that what you're thinking about, you attract. You may not even be aware there's such a law as the law of attraction. So the second law, and you have to understand the first law before you can understand the second law. And the second law is the law of deliberate creation. So in other words, once you understand the first law of attraction, then you can control what you think about, what you bring about. In other words, tomorrow you can predict what's going to happen tomorrow by sort of being the director of your movie, directing the movie the way you want it to be. And understanding that law of deliberate creation and the law of attraction really sets you in a whole different world compared to the average person. The average person doesn't understand this. Even though the information is out there, there's very few people that understand the power of thought, the power of words, and the power that you can gain and the things you can accomplish once you understand those laws. You follow what I mean?
I follow exactly what you mean. If we can back up and talk about the power of what you said, the power of thought and the power of words, how is that interconnected?
Well, that's where the word trinogenics comes in. Tri, the three points of tri are the mind, the body, and the emotions. The mind is the map, the body is the vehicle, and the spirit, the emotions, are the fuel. So understanding that along with the law of attraction, they come together like a husband and wife or brother and sister. They match. They work. They have inner workings that complement each other. Excuse me. So anyway, by understanding law of deliberate creation and going back to the director of the movie, most people are a participant in the movie. They're a character in the movie. Somebody else is directing their movie. You see, and I would say, and I'm just roughly making a guess and a guesstimate, so to speak, that 90% of the people are on this planet are playing the part for somebody else's movie. They're not the director, they're a character in the movie. The object is not only be the director, directing your movie, be your character in the movie also.
So you have much more control of your life experience.
In other words, look at what you want out of life, and we're going to get into how this ties in with goal setting. And knowing what you think about, you bring about. So what you do then is create your movie, what you want to happen. So imagine yourself as director, picturing this as happening. And the character in the movie, sit back, look at that character. Do you like what that character is doing today? It's easier to be objective about yourself when you put yourself out there as character in the movie rather than you are, in other words, in the movie. In other words, you're not the director. Somebody else is directing your movie. And most people, like I mentioned, I would say 90% of the public out there have somebody else directing their movie.
Under the old belief system or a childhood belief, then they grow into adulthood and what was expected of them, and they hold on to that thinking that that's where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, and then you are, like I say, you're controlled by somebody other than yourself. And it's so subtle sometimes you don't even realize it. You know, it's this expecting perfection that drives people mad. It's the school teacher expecting perfection from the student expecting perfection from the school teacher, the minister expecting perfection from the congregation expecting perfection from the minister. It's just striving for perfection it's driving people mad. So you sit back, you sort of relax, And I call it my cave, where I go to when I want to really be inspirational. In other words, solve some problems.
The man cave?
The man cave,
man
so to speak. And it has several purposes, as you know. In our single seminars, it has a good purpose, from escaping some of the wrath of the wife or the wrath of the husband. So anyway, what is great about this is when you're the director of your movie, for the first time in your life, you basically are in control of the character in that movie, because it's so easy, and we're going to get to some of the other laws. It's so easy to be subjugated to somebody else's wishes and desires, and a lot of times they play the game with the victim game. Well, they try to get you to feel sorry for them. That's one of the how would I say it? One of the things, once you're the director of the movie, you can eliminate that from happening. I call these people that walk around zapping your enthusiasm psychic vampires. Like they walk around with their umbilical cord ready to zap you. You know, I'm sure everybody runs into those people. You're really excited about something. You got a brand new car, or you just inherited some money, or in other words, these individuals I call psychic vampires. That what happens is when you are excited, they put a pin in your balloon. The only time that they really are really nice is when you are really down and out. Then they come and pat you on the shoulders, and that sort of excites them because they can be in control. That's another form of somebody else being a director, is allowing yourself to be subjugated to these type of individuals. So that brings up the law number 3, the law of allowing. The law of allowing is the hardest of the 4 laws.
It really is. I had to learn that many hard ways. But
yes,
once you
many
learn that,
do.
I'll tell you, it can change your life forever.
Yeah, the law of allowing is allowing other people to be the way they want to be, even though they don't want you to be the way you want to be. They want to be the director of your movie. It's my movie, not your movie. So you just have to take a stand and say, this is my daggone movie. It has nothing to do with your movie.
Exactly.
And being a character in somebody else's movie may get you somewhere, but where it gets you most of the time is where they want you to be, not where you want to be.
Well, it's like following somebody else's dream. Last Monday when you weren't here, I believe it was last Monday, Maura Sweeney was with us. And Maura, she's a hoot. She went down that road going to law school and all this because that's what she thought she was supposed to do. And in her 50s was when she changed and went down a completely different path. Saw Maura today, and she's up at the Amazing Women group and talking about just being herself and connecting people together and doing what she loves and loving what she does. And that's really basically what it comes down to, is following your heart and letting your heart tell you what is right for you. Nobody else can really sing that song to you. You've got to learn to sing your own song and sing it out loud. And like you say, stick to it. We have a commercial break coming up here already.
Already? Wow, time goes by fast when you're having fun.
I know, I tell you. Now, you still have 2 more laws to tell after the break?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to take a brief little time out. Stay right where you are. Go ahead and share us on Facebook if you like. It's still not too late to get a couple of tips here from our primetime TV show. We'll be right back right after this.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, I'm Derek Brooks, former linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. During my NFL career, I realized the importance of giving back and started my foundation, Derek Brooks Charities. We help Tampa Bay youth prepare for a successful life through our college prep and mentoring programs. Our goal is to see youth excel academically and develop strong characters and be better citizens for tomorrow. To further our mission, we've teamed up with Fun Night, a company that gives members access to thousands of nationwide discounts on products and services they buy every day. These include entertainment, retail purchases, dining, and travel. Best of all, 33% of every membership fee goes to the charity of your choice. We love being able to save our supporters money while giving them a unique opportunity to support our charitable work in the community. I invite you to consider using Fun Night to save money and give back to your favorite cause. Visit www.funnight.us to sign up now and get a free 30-day trial. Save money, help others with Fun Night, and support Derek Brooks Charities.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today. This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
The environment here is really kid-friendly, family-friendly. The parents are welcome to watch.
It's definitely been a different atmosphere since Dr. Becerra has come on. It's very inviting and welcoming, and the children just enjoy coming here all around.
My middle son did not like to come to the dentist, but now he loves to come to the Beehive.
You don't have to be afraid to go to the dentist. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
And we're back here with Primetime TV Show. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my husband, Dennis Kelly. We were talking about the various laws of the universe, and we still had two more to share. Now, what were the first ones?
First one was the law of attraction,
Law of attraction,
the law of deliberate creation.
the law of deliberate creation. Now, the law number 3, and these laws are very important because when you implement them in your life experience, even if you take little baby steps, they have a tendency to really take hold and actually work. So law number 3.
Law number 3 is the law of allowing. Now, as I was mentioning, the importance of allowing other people to be the way they want to be. Well, the worst thing you can try to do is change somebody. You know, when people get married, a lot of the attributes that the husband has that attracts the wife, him to the wife, when they get married, those are the things she usually tries to change. That goes with partnerships in business and intimacy and so on. And the key thing is allowing people to be the way they want to be without trying to interfere with that. And then when they try to get you to be the way they want to be, understanding that law, that's natural. That's a natural thing. So the key is to, unless they're doing something physically or moral wrong to you, is allowing them to grow at the rate they want to grow. You can give suggestions and advice, but you want to be careful with that, because when you get to that part where somebody feels pushed into it, and then that's where you have your problems, and that's where you're then playing into their movie. Because people keep control of people a lot of times by putting onus on them and putting pressure on them to things that they're going to want to change you for doing. So as a result, the key is when somebody's doing something that you don't want to do, that they want you to do, is to just back off Back off, because that's the hardest thing to do. Of the 4 laws, the law of allowing is probably the hardest, but it's the one that can mess up the other laws because of the emotional tie-in to disagreements and things like that. It takes 2 to argue, remember that. It takes 2 to argue. If one person doesn't want to argue, the other person does, there's no argument.
Exactly, because it takes 2.
That's right, it takes 2. So when you just allow people to be the way they want to be, like I say, and there is obviously certain circumstances where you have to take action, but I'm talking about things in general. Then we get to the 4th law. The 4th law is the law of disuse atrophy. What you don't use, you lose. That goes for the mind, the body, and the emotions. Because the key thing is, it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. The brain is a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. And the spirit and emotions are sort of like a muscle because they can grow. You can increase your emotional IQ, you know. And the key thing is understanding those laws, understanding that what you don't use, you lose. So that's another part of being the director in your movie. You can look at your character and say, oh, this is where they need to work on it. But when you are into yourself and you don't stand out from outside of yourself like a director looking at the character, it's hard to analyze yourself. It's hard to really come up with solutions. But when you back off and you look at yourself as a director looking at as a character in the movie, depending upon how you want that or how they want that movie and you want that movie to turn out. You see what I mean?
I see exactly what you mean. In fact, that whole picture that you have shared with me for a number of years really helped me discover who I was inside, which in turn helped me put myself into a position with sharing that with others. And I was trying to figure out a way to convey what I've learned from this whole concept based on my television career and women of all ages, young women, senior women, mature women, it doesn't matter. And I came up with this concept of lights, camera, action. Putting the lights on yourself, putting the camera on you, looking at yourself as if you're looking through the lens of a camera, and then taking action, like you were just saying, action on some of the things that maybe we don't like about ourselves. And that really, really helped me understand where I can go for the rest of the years I have left on this earth. And it really does have an impact when you look at yourself as if you're looking at yourself from somebody else's point of view.
That's very well spoken, dear.
Well, thank
Very
you.
well spoken.
I've got a good life coach.
Well, you coach me too, you know. I learned a lot from you.
Oh, then can I charge you for that?
Well, if you still pay the bill, I'll send you tomorrow. So anyway, getting back to those 4 laws, it ties in what you were saying and what I'm about to get into ties in with the thing that I use that have helped me so much is the 5 secrets of success. And they tie into the 4 laws. The 5 secrets of success, if you follow these 5 points, it's very difficult to fail. In fact, you go into these 5 secrets of success with the attitude, it's impossible to fail. Think about, what would you do if you knew that it would be impossible for you to fail in doing it? You do a lot of different things probably. The reason that people don't do things that they really get excited about a lot of times, they're afraid they're going to fail. The fear of failure is one of the most motivating things in the opposite way. So if you follow the 5 laws of success, it keeps you on that road, that narrow road. It's a narrow road, but it keeps you on that road to success. The first law is the law of in other words, the law of organizing. In other words, organizing your thoughts. The law of outcome. In other words, what kind of outcome do you want? The key is to see that outcome is crystal clear, just like you can reach out and touch it. In other words, seeing it and being able to visualize that outcome that you want to accomplish. The next law, law number 2, is building up the necessary passion and desire. Because nothing in the world can be done if they're on a large scale, on a very granular scale, if there's not passion in it.
How do you recognize, now you and I both know, but there might be somebody out in our audience that would like to know how you recognize your passion and desire.
Well, I can give you a little example. If you're, say, trained to be running in a long distance run, say a marathon, I've run a couple of those, so I can use that as a good example. So you're planning to run a marathon. Okay, you get ready to run, doing your morning run, because you have to run every day to train for that, and it's raining outside. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. All right? That's interest, but that's not passion. The one that's passionate about will look out the window and say, oh, it's raining, I'll go get my raincoat.
Got
You
it.
see what I mean? In
Yes.
other words, going to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym, running or studying or anything that is your goal, and even though you may not want to do it that particular day, the key thing is doing things you don't want to do, but things that you have to do to meet that passion. And so building a necessary desire and passion, the only way you can do that is see the goal is already accomplished. See whatever you want to accomplish. See your movie. Like if you direct a movie, how do you want the movie to end? How do you want the movie to start? What about in between? What do you want? So sort of pick your movie and based on what you want your life to come out about. And that's why I've written this last book. It's more, I'm almost finished with it, let's put it that way. And it's more of a what's the word I'm looking for?
How-to manual?
Yeah, no, it's not a how-to manual. It's more of the word I'm looking for is it's sort of like a diary. What's the word?
Journal.
A journal. There, thank you, dear. My life like a journal. Then all the things I did to become a five-time world champion in the martial arts, being a lousy athlete in school. So the second law, getting back to that, is the law of, in other words, building up the necessary passion and desire. Then the third secret of success is acting. Get off your butts. In other words, I would do that butt. That type of butt.
I think we've all been there.
Or getting off of speaking quite literally. So in other words, take action. Because action, a dream without an action is wasted thoughts. Action without a dream is wasted thoughts. So you have to have the dream and you have to have the action.
Makes sense.
So you act. In other words, get physical if you have to, working towards that goal. Then number 4, the law of success, see if it's working or not. Because if it's not working, if you know what they say insanity is, keep doing the same thing over and over expecting change.
Yeah, you keep getting the same results.
Same results,
So
right.
how long do you stick to something before you take a look at it and go, okay, this isn't working?
Well, you got to see, first of all, is there any progress in this? And you give yourself a time limit.
Okay.
And if there's no progress, there isn't any progress, obviously, then you go to the 5th secret of success, and that is to make whatever changes you need to make to facilitate the goal.
Got it.
But the key to goal setting is to write down the goals. Write down your movie. Write down the short-range things you need to do to reach your goals, the intermediate things you need to do, and the long-range things. And then see the goals already made. See the goal is already made or already accomplished. And that's where that law of deliberate creation comes in. You're creating your world. You're creating your movie,
So going back to when you decided you wanted to get into the martial arts and you decided to get in the running team and all of that, what was your drive? How did you come to this? What was it? What was that tipping point that you had that aha moment that I want to do this and this is why I want to do this? What was it?
Well, it goes back to my childhood. Like I said on many of the shows that we've done, I came from a very tumultuous childhood. In other words, I was told I was a loser. My coach said I was one of the worst athletes he's ever seen. So I had this positive negative that drew me to, when I got into the martial arts, mainly to lose weight and get healthy. I loved it so much because it was really my first chance to see that inside of all of us is a world champion. And my master, my Grandmaster, a Korean gentleman of 60-some years of age, took me by the wings and sort of mentored me and made me realize that inside of all of us, like I mentioned, is a world champion if we want it to be. So I had this really desire to prove that right. I had this desire to be somebody, to be something, so I could make a difference in the world, so I could help people that came from a childhood like I did. So I could have made the choice to go down at one path or the other. I could have made the choice to be a bank robber or an axe murderer, using all that,
it's all about
that
choices.
Excuse of having been challenged, having a good or not having a good relationship.
And I think a lot of people today use that as an excuse. Well, I have this childhood thing. And you know what? I'm not taking anything away from that because I think we are all products of our childhood to some degree. But we have the choice to change that. And there's so many different ways that we can do that. I mean, I too was walking along that same path with a, kind of crazy childhood or whatever, and not having the confidence in myself. And I had to build that and learn that about myself. And even still to this day, there's this little voice that isn't like right there at me. It's like maybe over here every once in a while. But you find your own way to happiness, health, success, prosperity, abundance, joy, love, all the great things that really contributes to our happiness. So these laws, you feel that if you stick with them, and I have to tell you, I have to give my husband some huge kudos here because I have never known anyone to walk their talk like my husband. If you are the perfect example, if it's raining out and you're supposed to go running, yep, you would be the one to grab the raincoat. You would be the one to go moving forward. Just like today, it was raining and crazy outside, but here we are. We didn't blow off our show because it's too important to us to share with you some of the tips. If there is only one person out there today that can glean a little something from what we have to say in our shows on Monday, it is so well worth it. And I have to say that I will be also the first one to admit that I'm not the greatest at going to the gym when I should, and I always get the dad look. I get the dad look that's the dad look. What can I say? And I still don't go to the gym like I should, but I'm doing better. I'm doing better because you know what? I want to be around a long time, and I take everything you have said to heart, and there's so much more. This book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, has really, truly been a major factor in simple things we can do. Don't you think it's time for us to get back to doing simple things? This is no different than what worked years ago with Jack LaLanne and so many of the other health professionals out there. It still works today. This book is from 1997, right?
96 it was published.
Yeah, that's right, because we met in 1996. There's a chapter of what I was going through when I was working in the middle of the night and how you helped me overcome those challenges and everything. So we want to talk about the trineurogenic system here in just a moment, and that is that whole mind, body, spirit concept. We hear that time and time again. There's a lot of different programs out there, and each one may have a different little twist to it. And hopefully what we share with you, you'll pull something from that makes a lot of sense, because today people want simplicity. We're trying to get back to having simple ways of life. It's so much easier and less stress, right?
Absolutely. I agree with you. Well, there's so many things that are simple that people can do that aren't that difficult. And using your past as a means to drive your future is good, as long as you can see that you're in charge of the movie. In other words, it makes it so much easier by seeing what you want to accomplish. And the key thing is, when you talk about the law of deliberate creation, is seeing that goal is already made. Like when I made my first goal is to win a national title in fighting in the martial arts, because I was such a lousy athlete in school. I saw myself standing in a ring at Madison Square Garden receiving this trophy with thousands of people watching and applauding. And I saw that it was already happened. Then I went backwards. Well, what would I have to do to win that national championship? I have to train real hard. I have to put up a belief system. I believe I can, and I believe that I have the potential to do that. So I, with the help of my master, I put together a strong belief system. And I saw that trophy, the color of the trophy and everything. Guess what? It ended up, I had to say, it was a black onyx trophy that I wanted to achieve, to win. I received a black onyx trophy standing in the middle of the boxing ring at Madison Square Garden, the same boxing ring Muhammad Ali fought in, many famous champions. And I saw that and that's where I built up the passion. I saw that as happening before it happened. Then I went backwards, and how did I get there? And then I did all the things necessary to get there, and that belief system was strong. And then the following year, I did the same thing, picturing a red trophy, and guess what? I received a red trophy, won it again.
And after we got together, we did that a couple of times.
Yes,
I remember the green one.
You said, okay, let's picture a green trophy, because I never had a green trophy. All my trophies, every color but green. Guess what? It was a green
Got
trophy.
the green trophy, and I was
Now,
there to see you get it. We're going to take a brief time out. Hold that thought. We'll be back right after this to share more with us right here on Primetime TV Show. Thanks for being with us. We'll be right back.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, I'm Derek Brooks, former linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. During my NFL career, I realized the importance of giving back and started my foundation, Derek Brooks Charities. We help Tampa Bay youth prepare for a successful life through our college prep and mentoring programs. Our goal is to see youth excel academically and develop strong characters and be better citizens for tomorrow. To further our mission, we've teamed up with Fun Night, a company that gives members access to thousands of nationwide discounts on products and services they buy every day. These include entertainment, retail purchases, dining, and travel. Best of all, 33% of every membership fee goes to the charity of your choice. We love being able to save our supporters money while giving them a unique opportunity to support our charitable work in the community. I invite you to consider using Fun Night to save money and give back to your favorite cause. Visit www.funnight.us to sign up now and get a free 30-day trial. Save money, help others with Fun Night, and support Derek Brooks Charities.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today. This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
The environment here is really kid-friendly, family-friendly. The parents are welcome to watch.
It's definitely been a different atmosphere since Dr. Becerra has come on. It's very inviting and welcoming, and the children just enjoy coming here all around.
My middle son did not like to come to the dentist, but now he loves to come to the Beehive.
You don't have to be afraid to go to the dentist. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm your host, Barbara Marvell Kelly. With me is Dennis Kelly, my husband and life coach. Can I do a plug for Dancing with the Local Stars for just once?
Go right ahead.
And talk about my locket. We were talking about it last week, and we're going to be giving the proceeds for any sales for this. So, excuse me, if you go to Dancing with the Local Stars 2014, Barbara Marvell on Facebook, you can get the gist of everything I'm doing. The event is on October 21st I'm dancing for dollars to support the Junior Service League, and I would appreciate any donations, and I have a link that's up. And if you go to Primetime TV Show, there's a link there as well. Now, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Well, good. All right.
We're going to talk about the 11th mile.
Yes, that's the story in my book, a couple paragraphs of something that really, in a way, had a great deal to do with some of the changes in my life, just like so many other things. It started really after I won the national championship in 1978 at Madison Square Garden. I decided to take a little sabbatical from the karate and get into some running, just to try a different sport. And I think it would obviously complement my martial arts, obviously. So I got into running and really practiced hard, and, you know, like anything else I did. Anyway, I moved to Atlanta because of my occupation at that time, and I wanted to get on the Masters running team. So I call up the professor at Emory that was in charge of the Masters running team. He says, well, to get on the team, you have to run a 10K race in 39 minutes. So wow, that's pretty difficult because I hadn't been running long, but I was running a 10K in about 45 minutes. So that's 6 minutes. That's a lot. So I really upped my running to where I was running 10 miles a day, 10 miles a day, 6 days a week for training. And I still could not get to a 39 10K race. And in fact, I got up to 40 minutes and 40 and a half minutes, and that was the best I could do. And on my course that I was running, after the 10 miles, there was this big hill on the 11th mile that I'd walk up that big hill to get to where I started my course. I was running in the neighborhood around where I lived in Atlanta at the time. So anyway, I decided, well, I'm going to run that last mile rather than walk it. And it was hard because it was like really a steep hill. It almost killed me by the time I got to the top. The first time I did it, I won't tell you what happened, but I lost my lunch. So anyway, I decided, well, I'm going to go through this because I could see myself being part of the Masters running team. I wanted to accomplish that just as another goal. And so I saw myself running up that hill, and I saw myself running a 39 10K. So after about a month of running up that hill, I was running a 39 10K.
How
In
cool.
fact, I got down to 38 and a half minutes, got on the Masters running team, did that for a couple of years, then of course went back to martial arts. But it was really a neat chapter in my life, and really it encouraged me to write the book because it shows that if you keep that image and if you keep looking for ways to make that goal, your heart will tell you what to do. My heart told me, well, it's going to be tough, but you run up that 11th mile. And sure enough, when I ran that last 11th mile, that made the big difference on my overall goal. And when you have a passion for a goal, the answers will come, what you need to do. When you start a goal, all right, when you're a director of your movie and you set a goal and you get passionate about that goal, you don't have to know all the hows. We can spend too much time on trying to work out every little detail. The how to make the goal, the how and what you need to do will come.
You know, that's true, and that's what's actually happened in our lives. Build it, and they will come.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up, and that has happened so many times. This TV show, we started thinking about this over 20 years ago, being able to do a TV show, to be able to share, to be able to build a platform and an audience, a really large audience. So we thank you for joining us and sharing and helping us grow, because we're going to continue to have guests on the show, specialists, experts as well, to share some things that can make a difference with you. And I tell you, we are so blessed. And now 20 years later, we now have this show, and I think we've just manifested it, never gave up on our dream, and so here we are, thanks to Tampa Bay Multimedia.
Yep,
It's quite an
absolutely.
opportunity for us, and we're very much in gratitude, thanks to John Gaston, to be able to do this and share this. So next, with goal setting, what are some of the other things to share with goal setting?
One of the other points that we get way out there into sort of the quantum physics world, but there's an explanation for everything. And Dennis Waitley, article he wrote in one of his books, I can't remember which book because I've read so many of his wonderful books. He really made a statement in the book, and of course, when you study quantum physics, I just study enough of it to be dangerous, but he said that when you set a goal and you get passionate about that goal, 18 to 20 billion brain cells will start activating and start vibrating at unusual rates.
I remember you saying
yes.
this.
And his concept with that, and of course with quantum physics now, they're just about proven it, that when you send that information out there, in other words, when you vibrate those 18 to 20 billion brain cells, they're vibrating at unusual rates. And they're sending out a field out there into the universe, bringing about your goal. And you know, when you think about that, the way that you can really nail down that goal is every day get those 18 to 20 billion brain cells activated. Because when you take your eye off the goal, when you start going major and minor things, and you start putting out a lot of fires and take your mind off of that goal, then you're never going to make it because that passion dies.
Yeah,
the
you
passion
get out of
dies.
sync.
It's like keeping that energy up. It doesn't mean that you have to dwell 40, 50 minutes every day thinking about it. Just throughout the day, you know, just vision that goal happening. And if you're really passionate, you won't have to work at it. That'll come naturally.
And things do come when you least expect it. That's actually what has happened to us.
Yes, and you know, you have to really discipline yourself. Like when I had my one of my most successful businesses that I had, we worked from 10 o'clock in the morning till sometime 9, 10 o'clock at night with the business I was in. Anyway, I would take at 4:30 every day, regardless of what the situation was. I would tell the receptionist, I don't care, unless there's a bomb falling, I don't want you to disturb me from 4 to 4:30. I'd get in my little office, I'd sit there, turn out the lights, and I would visualize the goal of the business, what was going to happen, where we were going with the business, and I would see it. And I would do those little steps that I told you, and I would visualize all the things that I did to make that business more successful even than it was at that time. And sure enough, every single thing that I visioned came true.
See that? What you think about,
right
you bring
to the
about.
detail almost.
And is that what these aha moments are? When all of a sudden something just hits us and there's just this unwavering passion and desire to follow through with something. It just hits you like a ton of bricks. Then you know what you know when you know it, and you're right in the middle of it.
Right. Well, now this is for all those out there that have a very open mind. I want to give you some stuff that's really heavy. You know, the mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work unless it's open. Now this is some, like I say, heavy stuff, but there's so much to this, and I want to share that with everyone. When I heard this, it was like, aha! It was an aha moment with me because I have a very open mind. And when I heard this, I said, that's part of the answer. So when you picture a goal and see that as already accomplished, then there is a vibration, like I mentioned, with those 18 to 20 billion brain cells or more. Who knows? There may be many more because we have a total of 150 trillion cells in our body.
I don't know where he gets all these numbers.
So when we vision that goal, we send a vibration. Then that goal starts vibrating. It's a thing. It's not just a thought. It's a thing. Thought is a thing, and that's the hardest thing to get across to people in the West. The Asians get it. They believe that we're energy, which we are. We're 99.9% energy and information, 1/10 of 1% matter as we see it. So when you vision that goal, but you got to be passionate. If you're not passionate, nothing happens out there. The passion from the heart sends those vibrations out there, and that thing, whatever it be, maybe a new Corvette, all right? It starts vibrating, and all of a sudden, before you know it, even if you don't have the money comes. The color that you want, seeing it, the exact color you want comes. The vet's there, exactly the horsepower you want, everything about it. You break it down into those details, and I'm telling you, it works wonders. Every goal that I've ever set in my life, I've made. The last goal I set, I'm still working on. And that's to have my movie produced.
Yes. Any movie producers out there?
The Legend of Tango Man.
We see it happening. We absolutely do. Well, you are a legend. You really are for what you've accomplished. I've only been fortunately, a part of your life in the last, we've been married 14 years this October, next month.
Right.
And we've been together about 16 years. So I've only been part of the last part of the best part, the fun part.
Yeah, she's right about that.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's really made up for a lot of losses for both of us being together for all those years. And so we have all these different messages to share in the movie, The Legend of Tango Man, which talks about how you overcame so many different things in your life and still ended up on top as a 5-time world martial arts champion, and how we found each other later on in life. And we're going to be doing some relationship seminars. We'll be talking about how to find a 10, be a 10, and attract a 10, which is something that has been very successful for anyone, you know, looking for a relationship and things like that. And it goes right back to what you were saying. It still comes right back to the laws of attraction and everything that you've been sharing here in the show today, because it affects us not just in our physical makeup, but in our emotional and mental and relationship arena as well. That's why we must get along so well, especially when I get my own way.
She's right about that. Well, you know, going back to our relationships, the main purpose of a relationship is to grow. Mm-hmm. And Barbara has been such a great mate for myself because as I grow, she's been growing. In fact, it's at a very accelerated rate because every week she brings home another book. and I have to really keep up on what I'm doing, and she, to be able to keep up with me, is doing her part. And there's so many relationships that really go sour because one person grows, the other person decides to stay the way they are, mm-hmm. and there's this disparity, and that'll never work. Mm-mm. That'll never work because this person starts resenting this person starts trying to pull this person up with them, and there's no benefit. A relationship is an exchange of what you have to offer. Mm-hmm.
To each other and to the world.
How to be a 10 and how to attract a 10 and how to keep a 10. In our relationship seminars, it all goes back to those laws, you know, that I was talking about.
It really does. And you know, in the world today, there is so much stuff people are dealing with. You turn on the news and you see this and that going on. And it's so critical and important for us to realize that we must change our thinking, our being, our consciousness. You know, even doing business today is different than how it was yesterday. Communication alone is so different now. I'll be the first one to admit, I love my iPhone, I love my iPad, but I must tell you, it's not the way to build relationships. It truly isn't. Text somebody to ask them out on a date and just all that crazy stuff. I love my iPad because I can do FaceTime with little JD, my grandson, and things like that. But it's not like holding him in my arms or getting down on the floor playing with him. So we really have to assess what this world is about, what we're about as human beings, and how we can share more love, more forgiveness, more inspiration, which ends up helping us all enlighten one another. And we all have something to share, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that might be able to help those of you that are watching this or reading my books is, you know, what I call one of the biggest mistakes that we've ever made as a culture in the United States is following Bonnet's discovery. The discovery of the IQ test around the turn of the century. Oh. The IQ test was discovered. So they test us in school, and I was tested at average intelligence. Well, I didn't like that.
Really?
I was tested as average intelligence, not above average, not below average. So I saw in life there was a disparity there because some of the world's smartest people were working for some of the world's dumbest people. So I wanted to be that type of individual where people would be working, that they would be working with me and for me, not me working for them. So as a result, I noticed that those people, and I observed people quite a bit because I knew that if you observe people, those that are successful take their points that they use and put them into your world. So I watched the really most successful people, and they weren't always the brightest as far as intellectual IQ, but they had a very high emotional IQ. Mm-hmm. They could control their emotions. One of the most, how would I say it, my wealthiest partner, my most successful person that was part of my financial mentor in business, he had this whole, I said to him one time, I said, Lee, His name was Lee Miller. I said, Lee, tell me what is the secret of your success, because this man made millions. And everything he did turned to gold. I said, what is your secret? And he thought for a minute, and he said, well, it goes back to my days when I was a boxer. In his younger days, he was a professional boxer. He said that he would get beat a lot. He said he didn't turn professional very long. He said, my coach said, well, your problem is when you get in the ring, you get mad. You don't control your emotions.
Oh.
So he said when he learned to control his emotions, he started winning. And he said then he applied that to business. I thought that was quite a profound statement. So I took that seriously. So what I worked at in developing a high IQ as far as emotional IQ. There's a book called The High Performance Mind, written by Weiss.
Anna Weiss?
Anna Weiss. Thank you, dear. Anna Weiss. She had a high-performance mind is one that at will can reach that state of consciousness that is most beneficial and desirable for any given circumstance. In other words, being able to call upon whatever emotion you want for that given circumstance. Now, somebody might say, well, that's not being your natural self. That's not being true to yourself. That's not true. What's true is you are being true to yourself. Because when you allow other people to upset your emotions, there goes that law of allowing again. Mm-hmm. People are going to zap you with their belt.
You're giving in to them, and they're controlling. Yes.
So the key thing is developing that ability to handle every type of situation to call upon. Sometimes you have to call upon a little anger. Mm-hmm. Anger at yourself, maybe for not getting off your butts. Or angry when somebody else is really doing something to disrupt your world. So you have to get a little angry, so you do something about it. As far as one of the big things to do about it is not do anything about it.
Right.
That takes a little bit of anger too.
Right.
All right. So it really, well, there's an old saying too, 85% of somebody's success in business depends upon their ability to get along with other people. Only 15% on product or service knowledge. So that ability to get along with people, treat everybody like you're running for office, because you never know. And the other golden rule is when you walk away from someone, you're having a conversation, the key thing is they need to feel better about themselves than they did before they talked to you. In other words, when people walk away from, or you walk away from somebody, they always feel a little bit better about themselves.
And yes.
Kindness, going the golden rule is not easy. It takes discipline. But there's that emotional intelligence. There's some people, I shouldn't say what relative, but I'll just leave that blank. But I have a relative that has an IQ of about 180. He's a member of Mensa. And he can't even sit there and carry on a normal conversation with you.
Wow.
He's miserable. He's a nervous wreck. And he has a high-paying job, but he just, like I say, he has not developed a strong emotional IQ. His IQ, from an IQ standpoint, from the mental part of it, is way out of the chart.
That's pretty amazing. Wow. Well, the emotional IQ, it really says it all. We are down to the last minute of our show. I can't believe it's already down to the show close.
Where time goes.
I know.
This is fun.
I know, it is fun. Well, thank you for all your tips, and we're not done. If you want to get the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, it is still available on dennis-kelly.com, dennis-kelly.com. And we have some seminars coming up that we will be sharing with you. We have a certification on Qigong, Master Levels 1 and 2.
First time we've ever done it in one day.
Yes, one day, guaranteed to pass, and you'll be up and running, able to teach, develop a profession for yourself. That's on November 1st. You'll be able to find that at dennis-kelly.com. And I also want to mention that next week, we're going to be offering on Monday our primetime TV show. Cher Kistler's going to be joining us from the Amazing Women, the group that I was with today. And we're also going to have Lanya Berger who is also an amazing woman, from the Arthur Murray Dance Studio, where I am getting my Argentine tango dance lessons. Watch out, Barry, and the rest of you guys. I'm gonna rock this thing. But pray for me as well, right?
Yes, I sure will.
And by the way, if you want to go to primetimetv.com, on the left, down below, you'll see the flyer on Dancing with the Local Stars that's coming up October 21st. You can click right on that link and make a donation. It doesn't matter, $5 to $500, whatever you want to donate. I am very much in gratitude. It is all for the Junior Service League. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and especially John Gaston, Tampa Bay Multimedia, right here in Tarpon Springs, live at 5 every Monday. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right.
Okay.